Okay, let's take a look at this assignment problem here. So we have, suppose you want to know the variance of your 5 most recent golf games. Your scores are 40, 37, 46, 42, and 44. So the first thing we want to do is calculate the mean of the population. Okay, now the mean is going to be given to us by the sum of our values divided by the number of values. Okay, and in this case, it looks like we are 5 most recent. This is actually a sample. Okay, this case for the mean, it's not going to matter. Okay, the mean is the same calculation for both a sample and a population. It's going to be the sum of our x values divided by the number of values that we have. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we're going to add these together. I'm just going to pull up my calculator here, and I'm going to add these. So I have 40 plus 37 plus 46 plus 42 plus 44. So 209, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so divided by 5. So 41.8 is going to be my mean. Okay, so what was that? It was 209 divided by 5. 209 divided by 5. Make this a little bit bigger, but not quite that big. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to fill in the following table, and this is going to help us get the variance and the standard deviation. Let's change these to those actual values here because I changed the values. So we're going to have 40, 37, 46, 42, and 44. And that's going to be our score, and that's going to be x. Okay, so the difference from the mean, you're going to do x minus the mean. So I'm going to go 40 minus 41.8 for my first one. 40 minus 41.8. Oops. 40 minus 41.8 gives me negative 1.8. Then I'm going to have 37 minus 41.8. Then 46 minus 41.8. Then 42 minus 41.8. So let's see, negative 4.8, 4.2. That last one was 0.2. And then 44 minus 41.8. So 2.2. Okay, now the difference from the mean squared. So I'm going to square each of these values. When I square them, they actually, keep pulling the wrong thing up. Okay, when I square them, they actually are going to become positive, okay, because negative 1.8 squared is negative 1.8 times negative 1.8, and that's going to give me a 3.24. Okay, then negative 4.8 squared, I can also put that in parentheses with my negative number to make sure it squares it correctly. That's going to give me 23.04. Then I'm going to do 4.2 squared, 17.64. Then 0.2 squared, 0.04, and then 2.2 squared, 4.84. Okay, now the columns here, this is the sum of the columns. So I'm going to add this column together, and then I'm going to add this column together. Okay, so my first column, I've got a negative 1.8 plus negative 4.8 plus 4.2 plus 0.2 plus 2.2, 0. Okay, the difference from the mean, that column should be 0, so that's correct. Okay, now this one, let's go 3.24 plus 23.04 plus 17.64 plus 0.04 plus 4.84. So 48.8. Okay, so let's remember this information here so we can use this for the next page. And let's see what we got for the next page. Okay, oh, we can bring this down. So total of my column was 0 here and 48.8 here. Okay, so the variance is going to be given to us by this. So this is going to be the standard deviation squared, the sum of x minus the mean squared. So this column here, 48.8, divided by n. N was the number that we had. That was 5. Remember, n was 5. We had 5 values. Okay, and then also our mean was 41.8. Okay, so the sum of x minus the mean squared, 48.8, divided by 5. So let's get that value here. So 9.76. So my variance is 9.76. All right, let's move down to our next page. Okay, now suppose those are scores from 5 golfers, randomly selected from 5 different cities. In that case, x bar equals the mean. Okay, so this here is what I was talking about, population versus sample. So x bar means that that is a sample, and then mean means this is a population. Okay, so calculate the variance of the sample. You're going to use the same calculation except you're dividing by n minus 1 as opposed to n for the population. Okay, so calculate the variance of the population. If we go back up to the previous page, this was the population because it was given to us standard deviation like that. Greek letters are population. This is given to us just as S for the sample. Okay, only thing that's different here is I am dividing by n minus 1 as opposed to n. So here I'm just going to go for this one. It's the 48.8, that's sum of x minus the mean squared. This time I'm dividing by 5 minus 1, 4 instead of 5. So 48.8 divided by 4, 12.2. Okay, so the population standard deviation is the square root of the population variance. Okay, so the population variance we found was 9.76. So in order to get the standard deviation, we want to take the square root of 9.76. Okay, so we're going to go square root of 9.76. It's going to give you 3.124. So here you can put 3.124. Okay, next we're going to do the sample standard deviation. So we had the sample variance was 12.2. So we want the sample standard deviation. It's just going to be the square root of 12.2. And we're going to get 3.493. Okay, so we have all of that information. And actually, that's it for the assignment questions. All right, so remember the difference sample. Okay, it's just going to say that it's a sample. Your key word for population to determine the difference here is it's going to say all. If it doesn't say all, it's most likely a sample.